Okay. Vaishali, I'll request you to please admit the people. Okay. So let's start while everyone is pouring in. Welcome to Atma Webinars. Some of you are regular, some of you have been in our previous webinars before. Atma Webinars started in 2027 for those 2017, sorry, for those who have not attended an Atma webinar before. And this is something we do where speakers share their experience, their practical experience, their knowledge for all the NGOs and the sector at large. We cover OD areas and various topics under different OD areas like HR, finance, fundraising, communications. And all our past webinars are there on our YouTube channel, which we'll share the link with you. We also have an intermediary database that we did in collaboration with Pay What It Takes initiative. We'll share the link of that as well. In that, you'll have links to intermediaries in the sector, and it can be very useful for you as a resource. So do take a look at that as well. Today, our topic for today is leadership coaching, and I think a lot of us have felt that leadership can be a lonely journey of managing a lot of priorities, a lot of expectations, a lot of aspirations of yourself, your team, your organization. So today we have with us Arjav, who is going to help us dive into leadership coaching, and hopefully by the end of this webinar, you'll have some more clarity on when and how to engage with leadership coaching. Arjav is a seasoned leadership coach who has coached leaders and teams in developing practical ways to navigate through challenges, challenges such as discovering purpose, navigating change, building organization culture, and integrating personal and work life. He's an associate certified coach from the International Coaching Federations, as well as a practitioner in the Lumina Sparks assessment tool. And Arjav will tell you more about himself, and you'll get to know more about him and hear from him firsthand. But just before I hand over to Arjav, just want to let everybody know we'll have a dedicated Q&A session towards the end of towards the end of the webinar. But in the meantime, if you have any questions, please feel free to put it on the chat. And while the webinar will be predominantly in English, we'll try our best to also translate it in Hindi on the chat box for whoever needs it, if anybody requires. And we'll try to keep a little bit of mix of Hindi English throughout the session. With that, I will hand over to Arjav. Arjav, please take the floor.
Thank you, Veda. And thank you to the Atma team for this invitation. It's a real pleasure to be here and to just be able to speak with people about something that's very close to my heart, that I think is really important, which is leadership coaching. And we'll get into this journey and then discover more about it together as we go along. So like Veda mentioned, I've been doing this for a while. I've been working in the social sector in India for a few years. I've been a coach for the last 5 years, but prior to that, I've had other roles at organizations. And so I think I have a sense of some of the things that come up with regard to leadership in the development sector, some of the challenges, how people have overcome them. And one request I have for everyone today is to please treat this like a conversation. I've set it up like that. It's going to be interactive. You will have to do things and get into it. So I hope you like that journey also. But let us please make this a discussion. This is not meant to be a one-way Gyan session. That I'll keep talking and then we'll all be enlightened at the end of it. That won't happen. But hopefully we'll all learn something together as we do this. So before we start, I just have a few requests for everyone, and so these are the requests. So coaching is about forming deep connections with somebody else. So a coach forms a deep connection with the coachee and vice versa, and it's a little hard to do that to a black box. To form a deep connection with the black box with your name on it. So I would request you to switch on your video. If at any point you need to switch it off, yeah, or kuch hai, then that's fine. If you have bad network or something, but please try to, because the idea is to coach, and we will all coach at some point in this. So it's really only possible if you can see the other person. Other request, if you can put away your other devices for some, put them on silent. It'll all be waiting for you, I'm sure, at 4:30. So if you can stay away from it for some time, please do. The other ones here are that please listen. It's a big part. We'll talk about that more. It's a key part of coaching, listening to what's going on and participating as much as you can. So these are my requests. The other one that's not here is that at any point in this, if you want to make a point or say, please feel free to come off mute and express yourself and make your point or ask a question. Very happy to take it up. Otherwise, you can use the chat at any point, and I'll request the Atma folks to just look at the chat and just flag if anything urgent is coming up. Yeah. Anything on anyone's mind before we jump into this? Any pressing questions about it? Yeah. Okay. In which case, I'm going to request one more thing before we launch, and that is to just get a little bit more centered. I won't crack the standard joke about this session being an afternoon session and people being sleepy, so I'm not going to crack that. But having said that, do whatever you need to do to be a little bit more centered and in this session. So coaching is about listening. It is about being present, about being fully there. So I'll request you to do whatever you need. If you need to stretch out, get up, walk around, do whatever you like. You want to switch your video off to do all of that, please do it, but then come back and switch on your video. All right, so I'll give you a moment to do it. And then I'm going to request that if you're feeling loose and you're feeling okay and energized for this, let's just center ourselves. So I'm just going to request that we close our eyes, just take 3 deep breaths, just let it all out, and then we begin. So here we go. Let's just a few seconds for this. So just inhale and exhale deeply. All right. And so with that, let's begin our journey towards coaching. This is a very brief structure, very simple. What's coaching? When is it relevant? And we're going to start over there. So I'm going to start with the boring definition. What is coaching? Google it. This is one of the things that you will see. And I'll read it out. It is that, sorry. Sorry. So coaching is as defined by the International Coaching Federation, which is this body that does a lot of coach training and prepares people for coaching and so on. It's about partnering with somebody in a thought-provoking and creative process that inspires them to maximize their personal and professional potential. I want to highlight 2 things in this definition, which is it being a thought-provoking and creative process. One thing about coaching is that when a coach is working with somebody, and the person could be called a client or a coachee, whichever term, it is meant to be one where the other person is meant to think. So the coach asks questions or puts things to them. So it is a creative process. We're trying to figure out what's going on, how will this, what is my issue, what does this mean? That should lead to, at some point in that coaching journey, a moment of inspiration, which this is how I can maximize my potential. This is one definition of coaching that we have here. Something that comes up a lot whenever coaching is brought up is that what's the difference between this? And this happens all the time that I get the question, many people get it, कि coaching के बारे में सुना है, mentoring है, counseling, training, and these are all things that sound very similar. क्या फर्क है इन चीजों में? And that's what we're going to try to understand. So we're just going to use this. I'll explain what this graph is. All of this is for leadership development. In some way, all these different things are for leadership development. And when you've come here, thank you for filling out the survey. Everyone did, and many mentioned that these are the issues that I'm facing. This is what I want to solve. So let's look at this. It's a simple graph. It has two things. If you look at the y-axis, the vertical one, there is an ask and a tell. Ask is when the intervener, coach, mentor, trainer, jo bhi ho, is actually asking questions because they're trying to provoke thinking. Telling is when it is one way. It's almost one way, that I have an answer and I'm going to give you the answer. That's the y-axis. We'll look at examples in a moment. And then the x-axis, the horizontal one, on the left, you can see sometimes the intervention is about looking at the past. What are the problems? What are the issues you're facing? Let's go deeper into those issues. Why did they happen? Root cause analysis. Let's really understand those well. On the other side, on the right, you have something that is about looking at the future. So it's not so much about the past, कि पहले क्या हुआ था और क्यों हुआ था और कैसे हुआ था, लेकिन भविष्य में क्या होने वाला है, आप क्या चाहते हैं. So that's on the right side. Now let's look at some examples from this. First thing over here is, where does coaching sit? Could I request anyone to use the chat or come off mute if you like? Where do you think coaching sits on this? You just saw the definition of coaching. Yeah.
I think
Hemant,
it's everywhere.
sorry, say that again, please.
I think it's everything. It's not just one thing. Sometimes you have to be inquiry-based kind of method. Sometimes future-looking. That's what I feel. It's like a mix of approaches.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Hemangi. I'm seeing answers coming over. One is that top right quadrant, others at the center of it all. Dr. Shreya saying starts with ask, future solution. Yes. So the honest answer is that, like Hemangi said, there's a little bit of everything in it. It's true. But if a coaching engagement, the majority of it will tend to sit over here. Because coaching is about, and we'll get into this. As I said, we're all going to coach today. We're all coaches today. So you'll experience that today. But there is this element of asking, inquiring, because you want the person, the coachee, to come up with their own solutions. The kind of issue they're facing, you want them to come up with a solution, and it is looking more towards the future. Compare this with a few other interventions. So let's look at one more, consulting. Any consultants on the call? Anyone want to take a crack at explaining why consulting is there? No, you can use the chat if you're feeling shy. Whatever. I'm seeing some smiles, but I'm not. No one's coming off mute yet.
I can I can
Okay.
take a stab at it. No, I think maybe because yeah, I think consultants often look at data from the past, and information from the past in terms of what's happened, and then there's a tell element to in terms of you typically get a consultant in for a solution, very specific solution. So
Yeah. Thank you. That was perfect. That's exactly why consulting is there. Moving on, other examples, counseling. So counseling also typically looks at the past, understanding causes, why this happened, what's going on there. But counseling also typically doesn't come up with here's the solution. आपको ये करना चाहिए. It's a method where through that process, the person kind of finds their path. But it's rooted in looking at past issues. Moving on, the other one there is training. Training is about imparting something. Yes, there are trainers who will do things like ask questions and have discussions and so on. But most training programs are about there is some information to be imparted. And it needs to be given. So there's a tell part of it. And training also typically looks at future. Okay, you need these skills for something you're going to do. You need this for the future. So that's training. And the last one I want to bring up is an interesting one because this comes closer to the center also, and that's mentoring. It still generally tends to sit over there because one goes to a mentor. A mentor is this experienced person who has done it all, seen it all, and has some gyan to give, something to share. This is how I did it. This is the situation I faced. Maybe you can learn this from me. There are mentors who will do some of the other things also, really good mentors. But typically, mentorship is about the mentor telling something, and this again being about the future. कि आपको ये करना चाहिए. So this is we're now going to do take a quick poll. So Atma team, if I could request you to launch this.
Is the poll visible to everybody?
Yeah, so no prizes for correct answers or anything for wrong answers. So just go into it and just go with what feels right.
Arjav, are you able to see the responses?
Yes, they're coming in. Okay, so we'll give it another minute or a few more seconds. Quite a few people have finished this. Okay, final call. If you haven't finished it, quickly fill out your answers. And we can end the poll. Yeah. All right. You can also share the results, Veda. That's all right. So take a quick look, right? So you have this in front of you, and now we're going to actually discuss this a little bit. Okay, first question, right? My org wants to start a new program. I want someone to look at, analyze it, come up with the solutions to adopt. Which approach should I follow? So you can see from the results over there that about half the folks said consulting, and I would say that that's the closest answer. Why is it consulting? It's because it's about looking at the past, analyzing the situation, and coming up with a solution. So this consulting is probably the closest fit over here. I'm going to go through this. Please come off mute and express it or put it in the chat if there's any questions around this. Second one, it's about I need to acquire some knowledge and I want a relationship with someone who has gained that knowledge by achieving the same goal or experiencing a similar situation. And I'm looking at the answers there. It's a closer one here, mentoring at 33%, and training comes a little later, which is a reasonable one because a trainer also might have some knowledge. I think the difference here is the relationship part. That typically a mentor, you have a relationship with that person for some amount of time. Training tends to be training session, training program, फिर बात खत्म. But लेकिन mentor के साथ at least it goes on for some more time. So yes, mentoring is probably the closest one for question 2. Third one, face difficulties, not sure what is causing them. I need to uncover the root of the problem so I can start the process of healing and overcoming. So maybe it was the language used or how, but more than half of you said that counseling is probably the best fit here. And again, that is true because it is looking at the past. And then that whole process of the person going through a process of healing. Fourth one, I want to acquire new skills or knowledge. And I need someone to provide information exercises or orientation. Again, here too, more than half the respondents were about this is training. Sounds like training, that this is training. And the last one, most interesting, and we actually had a tie. Is this counseling? Is this coaching? Which is achieving my goals needs me to show up with a different behavior, attitude, or perspective. I need someone to guide me towards discovering my own answers and realizing my potential. Which approach should I follow? My take on this is that coaching is probably the closest one here. And the reason for that is this future focus of it. This is about the future, realizing my potential, and in future being able to show up differently. Right? But it's a tie here, and that's why we're doing this exercise. That sometimes these things feel so similar and so close to each other that's why we kind of went through this. You've seen this. Just before I go further into it, any questions? Anyone want to object to the last one? Why coaching? Should not be coaching, should be counseling. Anything like that? Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm going to take that as all right. Maybe it is coaching, and then we'll get into it some more and see why. But again, I would just ask you to keep these two things in mind. When is it coaching? It is coaching when it's about looking to the future. It's about solutions. It's about things that someone might want to do differently. And the method of getting there is not so much telling. It's about the person finding their own answers. Okay, questions that come up about coaching in the social sector. I've put a couple of questions there because they come up a lot, so I'll answer them. But this is also where you are free to use the chat and put in any other questions you have about coaching in the social sector. In the survey responses, many people had this, that we want to know more about coaching in the social sector, what it's about. This is your chance. Yeah, so any questions on your mind, please go ahead and either speak or put them in the chat. So there's a coach and there's a coachee. And here we're talking about one-on-one coaching. I know that there's other kinds of coaching. There is group coaching and team coaching, but we'll talk about those later, right? But most often, coaching is about one person talking to one more person. So it's one-on-one. Question that comes up is who can benefit from coaching? What is the designation of the person? Is it only for the MD, the CEO? Is it only for directors? Is it only for senior people? And my experiences and the experience of many other people is that it doesn't really matter. So the designation doesn't matter. Anybody who is in a role where they are working with other people. Yes, thanks, Tejashree, for that. Yes, it is open for all. And anybody who's in a role where they are leading other people. And leading doesn't mean managing. An intern could be a leader if they're running some project and really have to work with people. A community worker is a leader. Anybody, your IT person can be a leader because it's so important what they do, make sure all these things work. So it doesn't really matter. So coaching is open for all. Having said that, I do see that most times when coaching comes up, it tends to be for people in management roles. And that could just be a sign that those are the people who feel that they really need it the most. That sometimes for people who are more or younger, something like training or mentoring is felt to be more useful. Whereas coaching is when it's about slightly more complex issues and personal issues, the individual behaving differently, I wanting to be a better person or a better leader. So that's why sometimes coaching tends to be for people in more senior roles, but there's no reason why it should be limited to that. Second question that often comes up is, okay, there's this coaching thing and it involves one person talking to another, sharing, talking about the future. The coach asks some questions, things happen. Okay, sounds like एग्जाम्पल्स इन हिंदी ठीक है, कोशिश करता हूँ जब एग्जाम्पल्स दूंगा तो मैं कोशिश करूंगा. लेंथ ऑफ एंगेजमेंट, फॉर हाउ लॉन्ग, कितनी देर के लिए ये एंगेजमेंट्स चलते हैं. On average, typical engagement 4 to 6 months. So 4 to 6 months very often means something like 6 to 8 coaching sessions if somebody wants some transformation. If it's a major issue, if that's something that they really want to see a big change happen, typically that's the time period. 4 months, 6 months is there, but it can be more or less. मैंने एंगेजमेंट्स देखे जो 1 साल के लिए भी चलते हैं, 1, 1.5, 2 साल तक भी चलते हैं. मैंने देखे, और कोचिंग एंगेजमेंट्स भी देखे जो 2 सेशन के हैं या शायद 1 सेशन का भी. And those are also useful. But it means that the person's issue is very narrow, very targeted, कि एक सेशन में ये मतलब रिजॉल्व हो सकता है. So that's length of engagement. Examples in the social sector. एक जो कई बार आता है वो ये है कि मैं एक टीम में काम करता हूँ या करती हूँ, मैं कई लोगों के साथ काम करता हूँ, मेरा मैनेजर है, कुछ लोग मुझे रिपोर्ट करते हैं और लोग भी है जो अलग अलग टीम्स चलाते हैं, और सभी के साथ मेरी बनती नहीं है। I'm at a management role, I don't get along with everybody, and this is causing difficulty to me, and it's also hurting the organization. I'm not able to grow. So that's an example of where coaching has been found to be useful, because it means that the person then looks at, why is this happening? ये क्यों हो रहा है? And what is it that I want? तो मुझे अगर अपने मैनेजर के साथ काम करना है, तो उनका वर्किंग स्टाइल क्या है, मेरा क्या है, and how do I find a way to bridge that gap? And same with other people. So this is one common one that's there. Another one that comes up is one where I'm a leader and my team suddenly needs to grow. शायद कुछ नया फंडिंग आया है या सरकार के साथ कुछ नया पार्टनरशिप बना हुआ है, और अभी कुछ नया करना है, नई टीम बनानी है, और ग्रो करना है या स्केल करना है, जो भी हो. And if you think about it, if somebody has been running a team of 20 people for a long time, and suddenly they have to run a team of 50 people or 80 people or 100 people, it's very different. Right? And sometimes this happens very quickly. कि 2-3 महीने के अंदर suddenly your team has grown 2 or 3 times. And it needs this mental shift sometimes. It needs this shift to saying that now what are things that I have to let go of? कि ये मैं अभी manage नहीं कर पाऊंगा. ये किसी और को delegate करना ही पड़ेगा और मुझे ये करना होगा. And those new things can be quite uncomfortable. अगर किसी ने कभी फंड रेजिंग नहीं किया है और अचानक उसे फंड रेजिंग कॉल्स पे जाने होते हैं या और कुछ, it's uncomfortable, it's not easy. Or if you've never been in a government meeting and achanak you're put in front of a district magistrate or something, it's not easy. Right? So coaching can help in preparing somebody, helping with transitions, and things like that. Understanding yourself better so that you can relate with other people better. These are some examples. One more I'll provide, and then really it's open to you if you have any more that you really want to hear about before we move on. One other example comes up a lot. खास करके जो मिडिल मैनेजमेंट पे है उनसे ये कई बार आता है कि आई एम ऑन अ टीम, लेट्स से मैं मॉनिटरिंग और इवैल्यूएशन टीम चला रहा हूँ. सो मैं एमएनई टीम चला रहा हूँ, और ये प्रश्न उठ रहा है कि अगर मुझे आगे बढ़ना है इस संस्था में या जनरली करियर में आगे बढ़ना है, तो क्या मुझे स्पेशलिस्ट रहना चाहिए? शुड आई बी एन मॉनिटरिंग एंड इवैल्यूएशन स्पेशलिस्ट? फिर आगे क्या होगा? व्हाट डज माय करियर लुक लाइक? या मुझे एक जनरल मैनेजमेंट रोल लेना चाहिए? जनरल मैनेजमेंट में मैं थोड़ा फाइनेंस भी देख लूंगा, मैं कुछ और प्रोग्राम्स में भी कुछ देख लूंगा, या और बिकॉज दैट मीन्स दैट इन सम टाइम मे बी आई विल बी अ जनरल मैनेजर and maybe something else. तो दिस स्पेशलिस्ट बनूं या जनरलिस्ट बनूं, ये कई बार उठता है. And that's again something where I've seen coaching be very useful to really understand कि भाई मुझे करना क्या है. लोग तो कहेंगे कि आप ये करो या वो करो, आस्क पीपल, अलग अलग राय मिलेगी आपको, लेकिन मुझे एक्चुअली करना क्या है, मेरे स्किल्स क्या है, मुझे क्या पसंद है, questions like that. So that's where coaching helps. So these are some examples. I've given 3 that I've seen. Any others? आप बोल भी सकते हैं, चैट में भी टाइप कर सकते हैं. Anything else that's on your mind saying, is this a fit for coaching? Okay. All right, I'll take that as we're good for now. That these examples cover some of it. But again, please feel free to use the chat at any point. All right, so we're still talking about coaching. right? कि coaching क्या है? How is it different from training, mentoring, वगैरह? We've talked a little bit about the kinds of issues that people bring up that for which coaching could be useful. But ये फिर भी ऊपर की बातें हैं. और एक सवाल अभी उठना चाहिए कि ये कोचिंग आखिर है क्या? So this is part 2, second section. Who can coach others? मैं कोचिंग की बात किए जा रहा हूँ और जैसे शुरू में बेदा ने बताया मैं एक कोच हूँ. मैंने कई सारी कोचिंग सेशंस देखे, लेकिन कोचिंग कर कौन सकता है? Do you need to be a full-time coach? So Beda mentioned, I got this certification. I did this training course. I got a certificate, that ACC saying that I can coach people. But do you need to do that? Do you need to get a certificate? Do you need to do a training course? Who can you coach? Because I do know, यहाँ पर जो भी है, there are two kinds of questions that have come in. One is this question of, okay, I'm interested in growing as a leader or others in my organization growing as leaders, and maybe we can benefit from coaching. So that's one thing. But there are many other people who have also answered saying that, can I coach people on my team? Can I be a coach? Can I help people? Because sometimes the people I work with have similar issues. Right? And do I need to go outside and get a coach to get help, or can I be that person? Yeah. So let's get into that. Who can coach others? और मेरे ख्याल से ये जो सवाल है एक्चुअली ठीक सवाल नहीं है. It's not this, who can coach others. This is the actual question. Who can be a coach? And the difference between these two is, पहला जो है, that is about doing something. It is, that I'm doing coaching. I set up a meeting with somebody, right? Let's say one of you. I set up a meeting and then we talk, and I'm doing coaching. More importantly is am I being a coach? इसका मतलब क्या है मैं अभी समझाता हूँ आपको. But short answer to this, who can be a coach? Thanks Asha for mentioning that. I have a different take on it, which is that anyone can be a coach with the right mindset. And also, like, legally and professionally or so, you don't need an ICF or any other certification to be a coach. Anyone can be a coach. Right? This is different from counseling. If you're a counselor, you better have the right education and go through all that before you start counseling people. Right? That's really important. But for a coach, not so. Anyone can be a coach, provided the right mindset is there. So what is this mindset? What is the coaching mindset? आखिर एक coach करता क्या है? कैसे सोचता है? What does it mean to be a coach? This is what it means. We'll go through it. There's a few things over here. Most important one at the top. If somebody is going to be a coach, and again, I want to repeat myself, being a coach means you could be coaching people within your own team, within your own organization. You could be coaching your friends, you could be coaching somebody at home, right? So you can be a coach. But the mindset has to be that every person that you are sitting down with in a coaching conversation, you have to believe that this person has potential and the resourcefulness to realize that potential. Frankly, this is the most important one. The others, matlab, baki, they help, but this is the key one. Why is that? It's because this goes to the heart of what coaching is. Without this sentence, coaching actually becomes like mentoring or training or something else. You have to believe that the person in front of you can come to a solution themselves. Coaching is about helping or supporting somebody else come up with their own solution. If at some point you feel that, yeah, let me tell you what you should do. As soon as you do that, you've lost the coach position. You're not coaching. You're telling or mentoring. So yes, asking the right question. So you have to believe that the person has potential भी है और resourcefulness भी है, that they have the ability, कर पाएगा. They will be able to get it done. So that's number one. Second one is, as a coach, you have to be in a state of detached attachment. और इसका मतलब क्या है detached attachment, right? It just means that जब आप बात कर रहे हैं किसी के साथ, they will bring up issues. They will bring up issues that could be in your sector. They will bring up issues in your own organization if you're coaching somebody inside the org. कि ये है, ऐसे है, it should be like this is there. If as a coach, you need to be able to step back and see the full picture. You need to be able to detect this person's emotions, how they're reacting to things, ये किस तरीके से सोच रहा है, what is bothering this person, what makes this person work. So you need to be in that state of being able to see that, but not getting caught up in the issue. So if somebody is really talking passionately about something in your own organization, or it could be something political, that you really care about, as a coach, you have to be able to step back. क्योंकि अगर आप उसमें फंस जाओगे, then again, you're not really coaching. Then it's just more, talking or training or something. To Dr. Shreya's question, is coaching only a one-to-one process? Not always. Sometimes it can be one coach and you're coaching a group of people. कई बार team coaching भी होता है. जैसे एक टीम है और एक कोच है और कोच सभी को साथ में कोच कर रहा है या करा रहा है, तो वो भी हो सकता है. Third one, most important one, the whole idea of coaching when you're trying to coach is you have to try to establish a deep connection with the coachee. And that deep connection typically comes by listening very clearly. You have to be listening all the time. क्या कह रहा है, और उससे भी जरूरी ये है ये सुनना कि ये क्या नहीं कह रहा है. What are the things that this person is not saying? But you can sense it. या तो जिस तरीके से बैठा है या मतलब चेहरे से या कैसे भी, what are they not saying? Not saying. And you have to like form that connection. A coaching conversation is a monologue. Yeah, thank you, Gauri. Read between the lines. Absolutely. Try to read between the lines. May not always happen, but at least try to. So a monologue. Anyone want to tell me who's speaking in this monologue? तो monologue मतलब एक जन बात कर रहा है.
The mentee.
Yeah. Thank you for saying that, but you shouldn't have said mentee. It's coachee. This is not mentoring.
Okay, coachee.
Yes. Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah. Yes. It's a monologue. And as a coach, the moment you find that you are talking a lot and you're the one talking more and more and more, you know something is going wrong. The best coaching conversations are the ones where the person is just talking and they figure it out. I'll give one example. एक था कि किसी एक जन के साथ मेरा एक 35 मिनट का एक कोचिंग कॉन्वर्सेशन हुआ था. आई एम नॉट टेकिंग क्रेडिट फॉर दिस पर्सन जस्ट स्टार्टेड एंड डिड इट, एंड आई वाज ट्राइंग टू टॉक बट ही बेसिकली डिडंट लेट मी टॉक. मैं कोच था लेकिन मुझे बात करने का मौका ही नहीं दिया, और 35 मिनट में शायद 32 मिनट वो खुद बात कर रहा था, खुद सवाल बना रहा था, जवाब भी दे रहा था. He was talking, reflecting, this, that, and at the end he's telling me that, thank you so much, that was a great conversation. And I frankly, I did nothing. I just sat there and, he was just doing it. Not every conversation will be like that. So, ऐसे भी नहीं होना चाहिए, but it's a sign of a good conversation. The coachee is exploring, reflecting, talking a lot themselves. And lastly, trust is non-negotiable. This is really, really important as a coach, especially when it comes to sponsored coaching, that if you're coaching somebody and their organization is paying for it. तो ये सवाल हमेशा उठता ही है कि हम लोग बात करने वाले हैं, मैं बहुत कुछ बोलने वाला हूँ, शेयर करने वाला हूँ, शायद अपने मैनेजर के बारे में, संस्था के बारे में, और लोगों के बारे में. Is this confidential? क्या आप किसी को बताओगे? And the answer has to be no. The details here are completely confidential, और किसी को कुछ बोला नहीं जाएगा, and that's very, very important. So these are some of the things that go into having a coaching mindset. So just take a moment. I'll invite you to just look at these again. Because soon, in a few minutes, we're actually going to try this out. So at that point, I'm going to say that please have your coaching mindset. Yeah, wear your coach's hat. So when I ask you to wear your coach's hat, this is what I want you to have. Okay. Now, having understood कि coach करता क्या है, mindset क्या है, how do they operate, who can I coach, is a question that comes up. Do I need knowledge of the coachee's sector, organization, or issue? This is one thing on which people will have different opinions. Asha said, anyone? True, that there is some truth to that. So do I require knowledge of that? Not always. Sometimes not at all. Like a good coach, somebody who's doing this well, knows what questions to ask. They don't really need to know the history of आपका सेक्टर, आपकी संस्था, exactly टीम में क्या है, वो आपको कुछ सवाल पूछ लेगा, and then through that they'll figure out what needs to be done. Sometimes it helps, because sometimes if the person knows the sector, it can help, but that's okay, and we'll come back to this, right? And I'd like to know how you feel about it. But the general answer is, do you need to know the sector really well? Typically, no. Can I coach people within my organization? Yes, you can. If you can have the coach's hat on, if you have the coach mindset, yes, you can coach people within your organization. There are some skills you might need to pick up, and some I'm going to share soon. And you'll find many things online also. Yeah, बहुत सी जगह से आपको पता चल जाएगा. You can coach people within your organization. Can I coach people who report to me? My answer to that is, it's a little difficult. Yeah, Asha saying no. I would say it's difficult. I will say that you can have a coaching mindset even when you're working with your reportees. So even when your reportees are giving you updates, या आप अपने शायद कोई आपको रिपोर्ट कर रहा है और वो बातें हो रही है, तो आप अपने मन में ये रख सकते हैं कि कोच का माइंडसेट क्या है, एंड it'll help you, आपकी सहायता करेगा, क्योंकि आप ये सोचोगे कि let me think that this person has potential. And as a coach, instead of telling him कि भाई आप ये करो और आप वो करो, शायद I can take a step back and say that, let me help this person find out the answers to their own questions. That might make me a better manager. और शायद ये अगर खुद के कुछ जवाब तक पहुंच पाए तो और भी बेहतर काम कर पाएगा, ना कि मैं उनको बताऊं कि आप ऐसे ही करो. So it's possible, but is it coaching? I would say difficult, not really, because you have an interest. It's very hard to be detached when the person is reporting to you. कि आप करो जो करना है आप करो, I'm going to be detached whether you achieve the outcome or not. That's very hard. So yes, I would say have the coaching mindset, but I wouldn't call it coaching. Any other questions that are coming up for you? This is a good time to ask. और भी कोई सवाल? आपने ये देखा है कि कोचिंग क्या है, डेफिनेशन देखा है, अलग चीजों से कैसे अलग है. Yeah, sorry, Hemangi, you went off mute.
No, I just want to ask कि if मतलब ये you said in one of your slides that it is kind of a monologue, right? तो वो monologue मतलब कोची का monologue होता है.
जी.
हाँ.
Yes.
And at one place you said that it could be one session or 10 sessions or an year-long journey, right? तो
Yes.
मुझे ये मतलब आई जस्ट हैव अ क्वेश्चन कि एक सेशन में किस तरीके से कोचिंग हो सकता है, मतलब मेरा अजम्पशन ये था कि कोचिंग के लिए थोड़ा प्रोसेस होता है, और तो वो समझ में नहीं आ गया. दैट इज द सेकंड क्वेश्चन. एंड द थर्ड क्वेश्चन इज कि क्या मतलब क्या मैं कोचिंग कर सकती हूँ, मतलब उसके लिए मुझे क्या जरूरी होता है, और मुझे अगर कोचिंग लेना है तो क्या मेरे स्पेसिफिक सवाल होना जरूरी होता है क्या?
ठीक है, ठीक है. ऑलराइट. तो आपका जो दूसरा सवाल है मैं वहां से शुरू करता हूँ, विच इज एक सेशन में भले ही कैसे इश्यूज तक पहुंच. तो कोचिंग, जो भी अब सवाल आप लेकर आएंगे, वन इम्पॉर्टेंट थिंग फॉर कोचिंग सेशन इज कि एक उद्देश्य पक्का होना चाहिए. दिस इज माई गोल. तो गोल तक पहुंचने के लिए आपको, जैसे आपने कहा, 10 सेशन लग सकते हैं, 1 साल लग सकता है. बट इफ द गोल इज, एक उदाहरण देता हूँ, कोई क्योंकि मैंने ये देखा है कि मुझे अपना खुद का पॉडकास्ट शुरू करना है और मैं समझ नहीं पा रहा हूँ कि मैं ये कैसे करूँगा. तो मैंने एक लाइव कोचिंग सेशन देखा है जिसमें एक शायद पौने घंटे के अंदर सवाल ये था कि आप ये क्यों करना चाह रहे हैं, आपने पहले ऐसे क्या किया हुआ है, आपको क्या रोक रहा है यहाँ तक पहुँचने. ऐसे ऐसे कई सारे सवाल. और अंत तक उसने तय किया, जो कोची है उसने तय किया कि हाँ मैं ये कर सकता हूँ और करूँगा, मतलब करूँगा ही करूँगा. तो दैट्स अ काइंड ऑफ थिंग जो शायद 1-2 सेशन में हो जाए कि मुझे. और दूसरे जो वैसे बड़े मुद्दे होते हैं वो ये है कि मुझे ये तय करना है कि मुझे अपने करियर में करना क्या है, मैं ये पोस्ट तक पहुंचाऊं, ये रोल तक, मतलब अगले 10 साल में मैं क्या करूंगा, ये मैं तय करना चाह रहा हूँ. दैट कैन बी अ मोर लॉन्गर की.
Got it.
Right? And then the last one I would say, let's come back to that at the end, क्योंकि हम लोग उस पर बात करेंगे कि वो कैसे होगा और रिसोर्सेज कहाँ से आएंगे. So let's come back to it, but I'll keep that in mind to come back. Okay. और कोई सवाल? Any other questions? Okay. ठीक है. Let's coach. एक तो हम अब तक एक कोचिंग एंगेजमेंट की बात की, 1 सेशन 2 सेशन, ऐसे लंबा कुछ चले या छोटा. लेकिन एक सेशन के अंदर क्या होता है, एक सेशन क्या होता है, मतलब लगभग आधा घंटा, पौना घंटा, 1 घंटा, या मैक्स 1.5, कभी कभी 1.5 घंटे या 2 घंटे तक भी जाता है एक सेशन. मतलब दो जन के बीच में बातें होती है, वार्तालाप होता है. और फिर बात यही है कि इन दैट सेशन हाउ इज इट स्ट्रक्चर्ड, होता क्या है. तो टिपिकली ये 4 चीजें होती है एक कोचिंग सेशन के अंदर. पहला होता है क्लैरिफाइंग ऑब्जेक्टिव्स, कि आपको क्या चाहिए. एंड वील डू दिस, दिस एक्चुअली वी आर गोइंग टू ट्राई दिस आउट सून. आप क्लैरिफाइंग ऑब्जेक्टिव्स. एक बार उद्देश्य पूरी तरह से मतलब क्लियर है कि ये करना है. द सेकेंड पार्ट इज एक्सप्लोरिंग पॉसिबिलिटीज. यहाँ पर कई बार कुछ फ्रेमवर्क्स का इस्तेमाल होता है. बहुत से फ्रेमवर्क्स है, सम यू माइट बी फेमिलियर विथ योरसेल्फ. आप कंसल्टिंग से वो 2x2 मैट्रिक्स जो होता है, या कुछ आइसबर्ग मॉडल, या बहुत से अलग अलग फ्रेमवर्क्स है. वन वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग इज दैट कोचिंग इज नॉट अबाउट फ्रेमवर्क्स. शुरुआत में कई लोगों को लगता है कि that I should bring in all these tools and frameworks और ये वो. आप एक गूगल करेंगे कोचिंग फ्रेमवर्क, आपको बहुत सारे मिल जाएंगे. And some are really good. It's good to know them. But the main thing, I'll keep repeating this in a coaching conversation, is having the coach mindset. That's the most important thing. If the coach and coachee have a trusting relationship between themselves, then it will work out fine. स्टेप 3 इज डिजाइनिंग एक्शंस, कि बातें हुई, ये करना चाहिए, वो करना चाहिए, ऐसे. एंड दैट्स ग्रेट. कुछ insight मिल जाए, कोई शायद inspire हो जाए कि हाँ मुझे ये करना है. But then step 3 is actually putting it down कि okay now exactly what are you going to do? Next steps क्या है? ये आप कब करोगे? कैसे करोगे? आप रुकावट क्या बन सकती है आपके लिए? तो designing those actions very clearly. And lastly, what have you learned from this conversation, this session? इतनी बातें हुई है. What have you learned that you can apply here, but also in other parts of life? So this is what a typical coaching session is. So keep this in mind, and we're now actually going to focus on the first one of these. And I'm going to invite you all to be coaches here. And I'm going to start by inviting you to take a pen and paper or whatever you like. But think of an issue that you are facing that might be a fit for a coaching conversation. I'm not going to ask you to share it with everybody on this. I might ask you to share it with one other person in a breakout room. So you can pick an issue like that. But think of an issue that you are facing. It could be like the one I mentioned. I want to start a podcast, or I really want to do something on social media. कुछ लोग ये भी बोलते हैं कि I want to take my health more seriously. मुझे fitness पे ज़्यादा ध्यान देना है. For somebody else, it is that by this time next year, I really want to be promoted. Could be anything. तो ऐसे कुछ भी हो सकता है. But think of some issue that might be a fit for a coaching conversation. क्योंकि अब by now you know what coaching is. आपको पता है, definition देखा है, coaching क्या है, coaching mindset क्या है, sessions कैसे होते हैं. तो आपको थोड़ा तो idea है कि है क्या ये coaching चीज. So just take a moment and think of it. Okay, can I get some indication that you are doing this? अगर आप एक thumbs up दे सकते हैं chat में या screen पे जो भी हो कि आप लिख पाए हैं, then at least I'll know. कोई भी सरल सा कुछ उठा लीजिए, ठीक है? Thank you. थोड़े बहुत thumbs up मिल रहे हैं. Yeah, yes, okay. थोड़े बहुत आ रहे हैं, but still waiting for a few more. Okay, so while you're thinking of it, अगर कोई समझ रहा है कि उनको एक्सरसाइज नहीं करना है तो ऐसे नहीं होगा, क्योंकि अब आपको एक ब्रेकआउट रूम में इनवाइट किया जाएगा. So this is the exercise. You will be in pairs. There will be 2 people in a breakout room, or one person will take the role of coach, the other will be the coachee. Right? The coach will then ask the coachee to describe their issue. So please keep this brief, right? संक्षेप में, what is the issue? और फिर ये सवाल आप पूछिए. जरूरी क्यों है? Why is it important? कब तक आप इसका हल चाहते हैं? By when would you like it resolved? And how will you know that it has been resolved? So 3 questions here. और 2 जन हैं तो 10 मिनट के बाद आप स्वैप करेंगे. तो जो कोच था वो कोची बनेगा और कोची कोच बनेगा. तो सरल सा ही एक्सरसाइज है. Any questions about it, about this, before we put you in the room? कोई सवाल? And for this, please switch on your video, because you're going to be coaching each other, and it will help your coach a lot if he can see your face. He or she can see your face. It's hard enough to coach, and coaching a blank screen is like even harder. right? So I think we're good then. If there are no more questions, Beda, I think we can launch the breakout rooms and have people join.
Sure.
और हाँ, if you need this, please take a screenshot. ये सब खास करके जो 3 सवाल है, या तो लिख लीजिए या एक स्क्रीनशॉट ले लीजिए.
आप प्लीज एक्सेप्ट कर लीजिएगा जो ब्रेकआउट रूम में जाना होगा. हाँ,
Yes.
इनकेस आप अकेले हैं तो मेन रूम में आ जाइए, हम आपको मूव कर देंगे. सो बेदा, डू टेक अ लुक. आई थिंक सम रूम्स आर अलोन.
We have more or less 5. Okay, we have 1.
Sado and SP, I'm not sure. Boni ji, आप breakout room have you joined? No.
BG, I will you to SP has not joined in, so
Whoever is still remaining in this room, please requesting you to join the breakout room you have been assigned. This is a wonderful time for us to just practice a bit of coaching and experience it. So,
I think some may be experiencing a bit of network issue, and that's why
huh,
they're
sure.
in the room, but it's showing as not joined.
Yeah. And would Soumya and Swati also like to go, or we can assign them to some rooms like room 3,
Sure.
Manchi.
Somesh.
Yeah. So,
Mm, I think room 8,
yeah,
there's some.
Swati, you can join room 3. Soumya, you can join room 4 with Nandita. And then I think we'll be fine. And Sheetal is also alone. So,
Janvi is alone in room 8. Mm,
I'm moving Janvi to Sheetal. Okay.
okay.
Yeah, okay. Both of them are together now. So that's good. Shushant is also alone. Moving Shushant with Kanika.
Acha, I think the ones that are here in the main room at the moment, they've just not been able to connect to the breakout room yet.
Yeah.
Purvasha ji, are you here? Can you hear us? Aditya, SP, can you hear us? It's looking like a network issue, maybe. Arjav, would you like to go into a few of the rooms and
Yeah. Do feel free to.
help
It's
them?
okay, I think. I don't want to disrupt the flow of
That's
it.
true.
So it's fine. As long as there's some activity. No.
Mm.
Where did we have one?
Counseling, consulting, trading, coaching. We didn't even know that they're different things.
Yeah, they're very similar.
Very, very similar. Yes.
Yeah. What was it like being a coach in your breakout?
It was nice. It was easy to look at other people's. It's always easy to look at other people's problems.
Hmm.
Yeah. You're caught up in your own. You never know. Yeah. It was nice.
All right.
Yes.
And your partner was Sheetal, you said?
Yes. Yes, Sheetal.
Yeah. Sheetal, what was it like, if you could share?
It was great. I really enjoyed, and our ma'am was also Janvi ma'am was also helping me. So it was great and fun to have conversation with her.
I'll also share that both of you are part of our program. So if you want to be connected after this, we can do that. Okay. So Janvi is part of our Pune-based program, and Sheetal is part of our larger Pan India Future of Impact program. So yeah, would love to connect both of you in case you would like to be. Uh, क्योंकि हमको पता है आप दोनों की पर्सनालिटी भी मैच करेगी. So,
Okay.
in the good position to understand that. So yeah, lucky position to understand it. Great. I think we can bring everyone back.
I would say give them a 2-minute warning. Just it's like the middle of a.
Yeah, or maybe like a minute warning. Yeah.
And then anyway, it takes another minute to close.
Yeah, exactly. So
Okay.
So some more folks have returned from their breakout rooms. You see, we can close the breakout rooms then.
yeah, it's, yeah.
Yeah. Welcome back, everyone. Some people are still on their way back, but please share, what was this like? What was it like being a coach, being coach? Short taste of it, but yeah, what was it like? Yeah, these are usually the expressions in coaching sessions that they sometimes tend to be very reflective and look a little serious. But yeah, anyone want to share as a coach, what was this like? Please go for it.
अर्जय अर्जय जी नाम है ना आपका?
हाँ, आर्जव है. हाँ जी, कहिए.
जी, मैं कादिर हूँ और मैं उत्तर प्रदेश के बहराइच डिस्ट्रिक्ट है, वहाँ से हूँ, जो
जी।
इंडिया और नेपाल के बॉर्डर पे है। और मैं रूम नंबर 12 में था और मेरे साथ सस्मिता जी थी। वो उड़ीसा से हैं। हम लोग आपस में डिस्कस कर रहे थे कोच और कोची बन करके। तो काफी इंटरेस्टिंग लगा हम लोगों को आपस में बात करके। एक अलग सा अनुभव आया कि कोच और कोची क्या है, इसका रोल क्या है, रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी क्या है, कैसे हम पहचानेंगे कि कोच जो है वो सही दिशा में काम कर रहा है कि नहीं कर रहा है, कोची कैसे पहचानेंगे कि हम अच्छे से काम कर पा रहे हैं। ये हम लोगों ने डिस्कस किया, सस्मिता जी और हम लोगों ने मिलकर बात की।
ओके,
और कोई
धन्यवाद।
आपके ऑफिस से कोई पवन करके थे, वो हम लोग की बातों को सुन रहे थे चुपके
जी,
से।
ओके।
जी।
और आपको क्या पसंद आया ज्यादा, आपको या सस्मिता जी, कोच बनना है या कोची बनना?
सस्मिता जी बोलेंगी थोड़ा सा और अच्छा लगेगा। दोनों लोग बोलेंगे तो सस्मिता जी।
ये सर, ये तो मैं ऐसा नहीं कि कोच या कोच मतलब ऐसे एक को चूज करना, मुझे ये सिचुएशन के ऊपर डिपेंड करता है कि हम कौन से रोल में हैं और कौन सा रोल मतलब अप्लाई कर रहे हैं। तो वही में हम लोग डिस्कशन कर रहे थे कि बहुत सारा रेस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी आता है जब हम लोग एज ए कोच के हिसाब से जब खुद को देखते हैं। तो जो रेस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है वो इंश्योर करना, बहुत सारी चीज होते हैं और बहुत सारे मतलब एक बड़ा सा एक रेस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी लेके जो चलते हैं वो हो पाता है कि नहीं, ये भी आंसरेबल भी होते हैं हम लोग। बट एज ए कोची जो है उसका भी बहुत सारा रेस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी होता है कि ठीक तरह से सीखिए, लर्न करे, उसको अप्लाई करे। और जो लास्ट में होता है रिजल्ट के ऊपर डिपेंड करता है कि रिजल्ट क्या है। अगर रिजल्ट अच्छा गया तो कोच मतलब है कि वो ठीक से सब चीज कर रहे हैं। और अगर रिजल्ट ये भी है कि कोची के ऊपर भी ये डिपेंड करता है कि अगर रिजल्ट अच्छा गया तो कोची भी ठीक तरह से अपना काम कर रहा है। और दोनों तरफ से आंसरेबल होते हैं, रिजल्ट के ऊपर डिपेंड करता है। तो ये है कि बहुत सारे सिचुएशन के ऊपर डिपेंड करता है हम कौन सा रोल मतलब प्ले कर रहे हैं। बट मैं अगर खुद को देखना चाहूंगी तो कोची की तरफ देखना चाहूंगी, क्योंकि आई ऑलवेज वांटेड टू लर्न न्यू न्यू थिंग्स। सो ऑब्वियसली आई एम ए लर्नर, सो मुझे अच्छा लगता है कोची बनने में।
हाँ जी, थैंक यू, थैंक यू आप दोनों को। और कोई, anyone else wants to share?
I'm happy to share. I think it was nice to be a coachee, for for a change. No, I think I missed it. No, I think it's good to get questions. I think you're very used to conversations where there's a like almost a two-way. This is almost a one-way, kind of guided one-way. So that's refreshing because it forces you to dig deeper and deeper and deeper versus getting stuck at a certain level. So I think that was very useful for me personally. So no, I really enjoyed the process of being a coachee more than anything.
Okay.
उमिया उमिया जी आपको शेयर करना था। उमिया जी और मैं एक ही रूम में थे, एक ही ब्रेकअप में।
नो, आई थिंक मुझे भी कोची बनना बहुत पसंद है रहेगा, क्योंकि मुझे भी बहुत कुछ सीखना है। थैंक यू।
नहीं, थैंक यू आप सबको। ये एक्चुअली कई बार आता है कि कोची बनना ज्यादा अच्छा लगता है, क्योंकि जो मन में जो कहना चाहते हैं, जैसे तेजस ने कहा, एक मोनोलॉग में बात कर रहे हो, किए जा रहे हैं। कई बार ये अम, अ, कई बार ये मौका मिलता नहीं है। काम कर रहे, कुछ प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व कर रहे, या ये कुछ करना है, तो ये एक थोड़ा स्पेस सा बन जाता है जब से मन की बात कर सके और कोई सुन रहा है। हालांकि बहुत जरूरी ये भी है कि बस बात ना करे, कुछ एक्शन भी हो, लेकिन फिलहाल वो कोचिंग एंगेजमेंट के दौरान जो एक्शंस होते हैं वो बाद में आएंगे। जैसे सस्मिता जी ने कहा, एट द एंड रिजल्ट क्या निकला, व्हाट वर द रिजल्ट्स, आर आल्सो इम्पोर्टेंट टुवर्ड्स द एंड। But that's what the coaching engagement is for. One last thought before we move on. Anybody else wants to share? Anybody enjoy being the coach more than the coachee? सब लोग कह रहे हैं कि कोची बनना कितना अच्छा था, ये था वो था, but anybody enjoyed coaching?
हेलो।
हाँ जी।
Hi, I'm Manshi from Harira Charitable Trust. मुझे भी कोच ही बनना ही अच्छा लगा कोच बनना नहीं अच्छा लगा, पर मेरे सामने आत्मा की ही कोई टीम थी स्वाति करके, और हमने बहुत ही प्रोसेस एंजॉय किया, बहुत अच्छा लगा। वैसे हम ही खुद ही अपने सॉल्यूशंस निकाल के हैं इसमें, पर मैं ही ज़्यादा बोल रही थी और उसने गाइड भी बहुत अच्छा किया और हमने बहुत एंजॉय किया। यस, थैंक यू।
थैंक यू। ओके, सो फिर मैं जस्ट अपना ये शेयर करता हूँ। तो जस्ट टू ये इस सेशन का जो आखिरी भाग है, एक्चुअली ये काफी हद तक हो चुका है, शेयरिंग डिस्कशन, और एंड आई एम हियर, तो और सब भी है, तो जिनको रुकना है और कुछ सवाल पूछने हैं और बातें करनी है, प्लीज स्टे अराउंड। बट जस्ट नेक्स्ट स्टेप्स, राइट, ये आप सोचिए। आई थिंक was it Hemangi who asked this question, कि now what, how do I want to, but यहाँ पे दिख नहीं रही है, I don't know if she left, I think she might have left, but okay, so here's the question: is leadership a fit for me or my organization? जो मुद्दा आपने लिया, जो इश्यूज है, होपफुली ये मेरी उम्मीद है कि अब आपको एक थोड़ा ज़्यादा अच्छा आइडिया मिले कि मुझे क्या चाहिए। क्या मुझे मेंटरिंग की ज़रूरत है, ट्रेनिंग की ज़रूरत है, या काउंसलिंग, या कंसल्टिंग, या कोचिंग। तो आपको ये भी आइडिया मिलेगा कि मुझे किस चीज़ की ज़रूरत है, और अगर कोचिंग है तो कौन सा मुद्दा कोचिंग के लिए ठीक रहेगा, ठीक बैठेगा इसके लिए। तो ये एक चीज, तो आप ये लिख सकते हैं, सोच सकते हैं, लिख सकते हैं कि अगर कोचिंग चाहिए तो इन चीज़ों के लिए। दूसरा सवाल जो उन्होंने पूछा, वेयर डू आई फाइंड लीडरशिप कोचेस? ठीक है, मुझे कोच की आवश्यकता है, कहाँ मिलेंगे? मैं ये कहना चाहूँगा कि बहुत से मिलेंगे आपको सेक्टर में। यू कैन रीच आउट टू मी, यू कैन रीच आउट टू द आत्मा टीम या किसी को भी, एंड हैप्पी टू शेयर। एक और संस्था है मुंबई में, स्वस्थ योग इंस्टीट्यूट, जो कोचिंग सेशन ऑनलाइन सेशंस भी चलाता है। तो आपको कई सारे रिसोर्सेज मिलेंगे, बस आप पूछिए। जिस अभी तक मुझे पता नहीं है कि कोई ऐसी डायरेक्टरी है जहाँ सब कुछ मिले। आत्मा folks, maybe you have a better idea because I know you all have some database, और मुझे ये पता नहीं कि उसमें कोचिंग है या नहीं, तो I'll leave that to you. If not, then please add it because it seems that it's a need. लेकिन मैं यही कहना चाहूँगा कि आपको मिल जाएगा, बस आप ये सवाल पूछिए कि कहाँ मिलेगा। Something that also comes up, actually ये यहाँ पर नहीं है, लेकिन मैं कहूँगा कि लीडरशिप कोचिंग क्या ये बहुत सी महंगी चीज़ है? जो उसके लिए क्या पाना बहुत मुश्किल है? और जवाब यह है कि नहीं। अनेक अलग अलग किस्म के कोचेस हैं जो अलग तरीके से काम करते हैं, और मैं ये बताना चाहूँगा कि वो भी आपको मिल जाएगा। राइट, तो बस आप थोड़ा ढूंढिए, थोड़ा पूछिए, एंड यू विल फाइंड अ कोच दैट फिट्स व्हाट यू नीड। आखिरी सवाल जो मैंने यहाँ पर लिखा है, हाउ डू आई नो द कोच इज राइट फॉर मी? और ये हो सकता है कोई भी आपको शायद बताए कि आप इनके साथ काम करिए, या कोई फंडर आके बोले कि ये कोच है, आप लोग इनके साथ काम करिए। मैंने ये सुना है अन्य कोचेस से, और मेरी भी यही राय है कि क्योंकि ये इतना मतलब गहरा रिश्ता बनता है कोच के साथ, आप ऐसी चीज़ों के बारे में बात करते हैं जो आप शायद और किसी के साथ शेयर न करें आसानी से। मैं यही करूँगा कि आप 2-3 कोचेस से बात करिए। कोई कहे भी कि आप इनके साथ ही काम करिए, तो आप पूछ सकते हैं और कहिए कि नहीं, मैं मुझे और 1-2 कोचेस से बात करनी है। और हमेशा एक कोचिंग एंगेजमेंट के पहले ये एक है जो केमिस्ट्री कॉल बोलते हैं, पर पता नहीं अमेरिकन जार्गन, बट वो लोग केमिस्ट्री कॉल। बेसिकली एक कॉल है जहाँ आप एक दूसरे से बात करें, और आप भी तय करें कि क्या मुझे ये कोच, क्या ये मैं चाहता हूँ कि ये मुझे कोच करे। निर्णय आपका है, यू नीड टू फील कंफर्टेबल कि हाँ, मैं आई एम गोइंग टू स्पेंड टाइम विद दिस। तो मेरी यही राय है कि टेक योर टाइम, 2-3 लोगों से बात करिए, और फिर आप चुन लीजिए कि हाँ, शायद मुझे इस कोच के साथ काम करना है। ये बहुत ज़रूरी स्टेप है। ताकि आपका जो कोचिंग का रिश्ता है वो ठीक बने. These are all the questions that I have here. Anybody else? और कोई सवाल और कुछ जो आपके मन में है? Yes, Asha shared ISABs. Yes, ISABs is there. Oh, thank you. काफी links भेजे आपने. Yeah, very nice. Yes, these are all very good resources. Thank you so much, Asha, for these. And Vaishali has put links to the database and where you could find coaches as well. That's all I had. अगर if you want to speak with me, मुझसे बात करना चाहते तो आप LinkedIn पे मुझे ढूंढ सकते हैं. ये मेरा पूरा नाम है. और नहीं तो मुझे इस email ID पे email भी कर सकते हैं. And I'm happy to answer any questions. Yeah, and even connect you to other people. So open to you. Any other thoughts, questions, Q&A, या Atma team, if you have anything to say at the end, it's open to you.
We'll hang back for a few minutes for anybody who has any questions. I think we have a little time. We can stay back for a while. So if you have any questions, if you want to ask Arjav anything now, or of course you can always email, get in touch with him. Please do fill in the feedback form as well. We've shared the link on the chat. Before you leave, it helps us know the kind of topics that you want for the next webinars, helps us improve our webinars. So please do let us know what your experience was like today. And thank you so much for joining. If you have to leave, if you have to be somewhere else, please feel free to drop out of the call. But we are here and we are listening to your questions or even experience, anything you want to share. We are here.
And
Yeah.
thank you so much, Arjav. I think it
No,
was
I
a
just
great
want to thank
session.
everyone. Whoever's
Yeah.
dropping off, like really thank you so much. I really enjoyed this. I love talking about coaching, and thank you for giving me the chance to share this and being part of it. So thank you.
If the link to the intermediary database is not working, we'll also share it in a post session email. You'll be receiving an email after the session, and you'll have all the links to the resources and everything that was shared in the session. So don't worry about the link.